Hello. So here's the deal. You keep seeing people around you succeeding and skyrocketing with their skills, and it seems like you're not progressing, or at least you're moving a lot slower than everyone else, and you really just want to level up. You want to be at their level. How on earth do you learn your skills as fast as possible?
So I've been on YouTube for 2 years, and I've been doing photography and videography for about 3.5 years. And in that time, I've got to say, I've been like really crazy successful, and I really have to put it down to everything that I'll be sharing with you in this video. So I'm very excited to share this with you because I want you to accelerate as quick as possible too. I'm gonna regret this so bad. Itchy already. So I started photography, but I wasn't even sure why I was drawn to this world. And the only inspiration that I had was my internship. I was learning everything from this one woman called Sasha Dobies, and she's a vintage portrait photography expert. And even though I'm not in that vintage world anymore, it's become very obvious how incredibly important that internship was for me. And after I broke out of the vintage portrait photography world, I moved to Iceland, and everyone there was doing landscape photography. So I just followed because I thought that's what I had to do. But that was one of the greatest things that ever happened to me, because luckily there was a guy called Benjamin Hardman who was my friend in Iceland, and I adored his work. I've never seen landscape photography like that. I honestly think that he's the one that's pioneered landscape photography as we see it on Well, hello to you too! Landscape photography the way it is today, like pure art. His work is minimalistic, it's edited quite a lot, but it still looks natural, and I was obsessed! And I completely craved to understand how Benjamin created his work. It hurt me. It actually hurt me knowing how good he was, and that I was never gonna be that way, and I could never produce the kind of work he did. But anyway, the itch was there. I got stuck on the idea of wanting to dissect Benjamin's work, wanting to get better for my own sake, because I felt like there was something inside of me that had to be expressed. I didn't know how, but I just knew I had to. So I started taking lots of photographs, and honestly, I was horrific. The learning phase is so painful. Oh my gosh, anyone learning right now, I completely feel for you, because I was there. Putting out your work and knowing that people are looking at it being like, oh god, that sucks. And pretending that they like it, like, wow, great work. And knowing some people would be like, oh, look at her trying, that's so cute. So even though these feelings were completely overwhelming and it was really uncomfortable, I knew that I had to face these feelings head on, because there was this weird, unexplainable desire to take a photograph, the itch inside that I needed to create. So I had to just like push aside opinions of others and face these horrific feelings and potentials of how people are judging me aside, because I needed to follow my heart. So to be honest, I never really loved landscape photography. To me, it always felt like there was a person missing out of the image. However, everyone else was taking landscape photography in Iceland, so I was like, well, I'll just continue. But my heart was like, hurrah, this is boring, this hurts, I want something more. So evolution is a completely normal part of photography, and the next phase of my photography came when I won the best job on the planet, and it was my job to take photographs of myself traveling the world and having fun, which is where the fun stuff began. It's just the same as when Steve Jobs said that you can't ever understand what your life is until you look back on it and you can join the dots. This was kind of the same for me, because this is the stage now where I started taking my portrait photography together with my artistic landscapes and molding them together and creating exactly who I am today. This is probably the stage in my photography journey when I became inspired more so than depressed about my work. Things were just falling into place, and this is where I felt alive every time I was on Lightroom for sometimes like 8 to 10 hours a day, trying to figure out what everything does, how everything works. I was getting inspiration from different photographers and just absorbing. This stage was so beautiful. I just wanted to know more and more and more. How can I do better for myself? Like a switch went off in my brain, and I was like, wait, I can do this thing. For the first time in my life, I figured out my niche, and it felt so good. It was such a nice time. It was such an amazing time, and I just really hope that you get to that stage, or you're in that stage, or you've bypassed that stage, because it's one of the most beautiful times I've experienced in my career as a creator. I think obsession is borderline crazy and mental and dangerous, but when you apply it correctly and you spend stupid amounts of time trying to understand the world that you're so engulfed in, and something is drawing you towards it, you will do anything it takes to have the vision inside your mind match with the outside that you are creating. And it is painful. And you know, as a creator, this stage is painful because you produce work, but in your head it's so different, and this is what drives you to create magic. Okay, time out. I'm actually crazy hungry, so let's do a time out and I'll show you my super shake, which I'm super excited about. It's delicious and so healthy. Oh. We all know the saying that suicide is prevention. No, what? It's not even something funny you should be laughing about. We all know that suicide, no, I did it again. We all know that comparison is suicide, is what I'm trying to say. So I never, and I encourage you to do the same, please don't compare yourself to anyone else, because art is from the heart. It comes from here. It's not so that you can be better than Joe Blow next door. It's so that you can be the very best version of yourself and get this vision out of your head. That's what it is. So you can't compare. Yes! Check this out. Oh, baby, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were busy.
I just wanted to come and see if you had an egg for me, because she always delivered the eggs. I think she's doing the egg right now. I back out. Thanks.
So that is my journey of photography, but this is my YouTube journey and where I got inspiration and how I feel like I've learned as fast as possible in this world. So for me, I was personally first inspired by Jenna Marbles. I've got to look because there's a lot of people. Then Liza Koshy, then Prince E, then Casey Neistat, then Sam Calder, then Tim Ferriss, then Peter McKinnon, then Mango Street Lab, then Chris Howe, then Dan Mays. And if you look at my work now, you'll see very evidently that I've got mixed inspiration bits from each of these creators. I've extracted my favorite things from those creators and made them my own, and now I'm constantly developing myself more and more, and I've built my own unique style. But as you look through my YouTube, you can literally see the transition and see who I was getting the most inspiration from at that time. Like, some are so clearly Peter McKinnon, some are so clearly Liza Koshy. Like, it's ridiculous. You can really see. Until not even that long ago, I was like, no, I like this, and I created it. Like, the boomerangs that I have in between each shot, that's something that came to me, and I was like, I really dig that, and it's stuck as my own. So now I'm creating my own work fresh from my brain, which is very exciting. But I still get the question, like, who else inspires you? Like, surely it's not just YouTubers and Instagrammers, but not that you guys sound like that. But this is how my brain works. I need to become super obsessed in one topic and really nail that one genre, and really nail that one category. So for me right now, YouTube is really what I wanted, because I wanted this for 5 years before I even did YouTube properly. And so I finally did it, and now I'm like, I can't let this escape from me. So I've just like delved into this world so hardcore to succeed, because there's no way I wasn't going to succeed in this anymore. It was happening and I just concentrated on it. But it doesn't work like that for everyone else. Like, a lot of people get inspiration from other sources like TV, film. I get a lot of inspiration still from music, but when it comes to YouTube and filmmaking and stuff, it definitely is YouTubers. The final element, applying pressure, because no skill will ever be complete until you apply a very good amount of pressure. No diamond is ever created without pressure. In my early stages of work for photography and videography, I got jobs based around those topics, and it was extremely nerve-wracking, because part of me thought that there's no way I could deliver on this. I was so scared that I was gonna stuff up, but I just took the jobs. I was like, I know in my heart of hearts, if I commit, if I dedicate myself, if I really try hard, I think I could do this. That pressure of getting paid to do something was petrifying. And of course, at the beginning, you charge only what is appropriate to your skill level, so it wasn't a lot of money, but it still made you present the absolute best to yourself. It was the pressure I needed at the beginning to start mastering photography and videography. This table's so crooked. It's not the camera, it's the table. When I started putting my photos and videos on social media, holy crap, that was so scary. So I had people like writing really mean comments to me, disliking my stuff, not liking it, ignoring. Ignoring is the worst. It's so painful. And that is pressure as well, because you've got potentially thousands of people looking at your work, and you're like, I better bring it ASAP. So that pressure was necessary, and the more that I grow, the more that I want to get better, to not disappoint you guys, to encourage you to keep going, and just to see what else I'm capable of, because it's a fun journey. But without this pressure, girl would not be where I am right now. Oh hell no, no. So without putting yourself, Jesus, without putting your work out there for people to see, even though it's not representative of what your vision is inside and you want it to be perfect straight away, but it's not going to be perfect at the start. Honestly, we're all going to suck at the start whenever we're learning something new. Picasso had to start somewhere as well. He was probably, fingers crossed, really stuffy, really bad as well. So that is my personal recipe of how I became successful in my field, I guess. I said at the beginning that I'm like super successful. I don't know, like, it's really hard to define success. yes, what I meant by that is that like I am now a recognized YouTuber and it's really cool. My work isn't up to scratch and perfect. Like I'm not a global filmmaker, but maybe I'll become that one day. I don't know. And that's when I'll take inspiration from different sources. I just wanted to share my roadmap of what's worked for me. And I hope you enjoy and embrace the journey of growth because it really is beautiful, super difficult, but like what else have you got to lose? Becoming an artist and learning that art isn't something that you can really stuff up in. It's like, it's a fun journey. It's expressing whatever you have inside with the outside. Like it's fun. They have bees here. That's the coolest. I just wanted to say one more thing. Usually my videos are really straightforward, straight to the point, and I'm kind of shying away all the time from showing too much of myself because I'm really shy and I don't know how much people care. But I've been like so content in this space, in this home lately, and I just feel so much more myself than I ever have. So it just allowed me to have a space, I guess, to create more of myself and just kind of be more normal and show my personality and things that I love and the food that I love, etc, etc, etc. So thanks for allowing this space for me to explore this. I don't know if I'm gonna keep doing it, but I really enjoy it. But yeah, my Instagram if you would like to see more of my work, and until next time, peace. Chickens for life. I want my own chickens. I want a house like this. This is what Sorelle wants now. Country girl, who would have thought?